Okay.
All right, well, I will call to order. Welcome everybody to the May 7th meeting of the Ann Arbor Public Art Commission. This meeting is being conducted electronically and will be broadcast live on CTN Channel 19 or online at a2gov.org/watchctn. At this point, we don't have quorum to move through our approval of agenda and minutes, but we can certainly hear from Anna, or what else can we conduct while we wait for quorum?
We could do roll call, right? Or should we wait?
We could do, yep, we could do roll call. I can add in later as needed.
Welcome, Anna.
All right, so roll call. We have, I need to update my roles here. So Commissioner Buford.
Hey, Aaron, it's Bufford.
Oh, Bufford. Apologies.
No problem. Present from Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Grier is absent. Councilmember Harrison, absent. Commissioner Fuller will be joining late. Commissioner Kotarski will be absent. I think you said Commissioner Neal will also be joining late. Okay. Commissioner Porter.
Present in Ann Arbor.
Chair Thiefels.
Present in Grass Lake.
And Commissioner Weir Leonard.
Present from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
And Commissioner Zhang. Absent. All right, thank you.
So Anna, we're a little shy of some of our members tonight, and we would love to give this time to you to introduce yourself while we wait for a couple other people to arrive, or we can move on to some other business, and then when Sarah and Allison join, we could then have you introduce yourself. It's up to you. I guess I'm giving you time. I'm not sure if you were planning on attending the whole meeting or if you just wanted to pop in.
Well, you know, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the group, and I'm happy to wait until there's a few more folks here to hear what I have to say.
Great. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Anna. So glad to have you here. Amazing. Okay, well, Aaron, what are we at liberty to do here? Can we work on the plan, the 2025 plan?
Yeah, yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome. So the 2025 plan has to be submitted to City Council, and it's essentially what we see ourselves accomplishing within the next year. And there's already a draft that was shared out with everybody. So hopefully folks had a chance to review that and update it with any new initiatives that your committee is thinking about doing differently this year, or striking from the plan that was listed. Peggy or Marianetta or Jamal, were there anything that stood out to you or that we should look at? I'm going to pull it up here.
Peggy's
Reminds me
muted.
of my Zoom days. Sophie and I have been in touch with Robert because the Golden Paintbrush Award is ready to go live. And but the way it's put in there is fine. We're
Okay.
wondering, next year we might make some changes, but I think we decided we were just gonna go status quo now. So yeah, on my end, as I'm special projects, everything looked great.
Okay, and from what I understand, Sophie is going to be stepping off of the commission and is going to stay on special projects as a non-voting member. Is that something
Yep.
you're also aware of? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's great. Are there any other committees that you're on, Peggy?
There
You're on
aren't
special.
at this point. I just special
Okay.
projects.
All right, so it says here that you want to expand the online public art tour to include non-city artworks. Is that an initiative that still seems doable?
I don't know. I think we'd have to bring that up to our person that does all our technical stuff. Would Robert be the one, Aaron, that would probably be responsible for that? Photographing and putting those up?
That's a good question. I can check with him.
I know that
Welcome,
was an
Commissioner
initiative.
Neal.
I know that was an initiative that we talked about, so I guess to be determined. I mean, we can leave it in there.
Allison, thanks for joining us. We didn't have quorum, so we have not yet gone through approval of agenda and minutes. We were just jumping right into the plan. So now that we have quorum, maybe we can take a couple steps back. So is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I move.
I second.
Peggy in second. Thank you, Peggy and Marionetta. Excellent. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
any opposed? Nope. All right, awesomeness. Moving right along here, approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's minutes? Okay, any additions or subtractions to the minutes? Okay, all in favor of tonight? Oh, wait, that was the minutes. All approval, sorry, the minutes, yeah. Everybody looked over the minutes, all in favor of approving the minutes from last meeting?
Aye.
Okay, perfect. Any opposed? Okay, didn't see any of that. All right, excellent. Well then, we will approve the agenda and the minutes and keep going on. Public commentary, do we have to do anything with that, Erin?
Um,
We don't have CTM,
no, because
right?
we don't
So,
have
okay.
CTN, so we're not actually
Okay.
broadcasting live at the moment.
All right. Let me pull up. So we were going through the plan, the 2025 plan, so we can have that ready to submit to City Council for approval. We can just go kind of work group by work group if we have representation tonight. And we were just chatting with Peggy a little bit about the special projects work group. And I had asked Peggy, line item 2 is expand the online virtual public tour to include non-city public works, possibly linked to the University of Michigan's collection. So that definitely is a broad undertaking. I can see. I did have a meeting with a couple of folks from the Ann Arbor Arts Center where they are creating a virtual tour of their murals and the art that they have been working on. The tours are kind of consolidated to a couple different neighborhoods in Ann Arbor. But I did mention to them, the city has an interactive map of our collection as well. What do you guys think of, linking these in the future to be like an app for the entire city so that tourists can come and kind of have under in one app all of the public art collection for the city of Ann Arbor. So sounds like a big idea that could be kind of cool to see come together. Is that kind of what folks were thinking in special projects with this expanding of the public art tour?
Yeah, that's what I think we were thinking of. Who else is not? Oh, Jamal, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's what we were
Yeah.
thinking of, trying to have more of a collection, have it kind of all condensed in one place.
Yep. Exactly.
Find a way to incorporate more dance music, support and engage. The flag has already been created, so should we take number 4 off?
I guess so, because we already did that. The only thing that I would really like to do, and I was going to talk about that under new business, and it relates to the flag. I have not talked to the woman that's in charge of elections because I kind of wanted to get your approval first, but I think we should kind of be instrumental in pushing, you know how when we go to vote, so we just had election, but there'll be one in November, they have the little iVoting stickers. I think it would be nice to have the iVoting stickers made into some of the creative things that are happening in our town. And so it seems like for the November election, it would be nice to have an I voted sticker that was our new flag design.
Very cool.
But you probably know her name, Erin. Who handles the city elections? Robert Keller, who we've been working with, said, that's her baby. I need to talk to her. So
Jacqueline.
Yes, Jacqueline, was it?
Oh, good question.
Well, anyway, I have it
should
written
know
down.
that.
So when we move on to new business, yeah, maybe we could just change it to promote the new city flag design, because still don't think a lot of people know about it.
That's a great idea. Yep.
But I have to talk to her well, once I got approval from you guys, I will reach out to her and see if it's doable. So,
Peggy, she pretty much ran the call for art to do their, they had the artwork on the I voted stickers like, I don't know, it was 2 years
yeah, we
ago.
did that contest. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think she'd be open to it.
Yeah, I think so too. I just know they said that Robert Keller said she runs the election. You got to run everything by her. So, but I will if you guys, I think it's a good idea. And then we could move on to other things. It'd be nice to have maybe little images of our golden paintbrush winners. I don't know. Just a nice stickers are really hot right now. And when I voted, whenever that was, it's bad memory. But anyway, they just had the basic old flag thing. And so it'd be nice, I think, in Ann Arbor to have something creative each election. But I'll ask her about it if you guys think it's a good idea.
I love it. I would, as far as the public art collection goes, I think we've talked about this a couple times. I know that we've had trouble upkeeping our own collection on the virtual tour. So I would be hesitant to want to maintain other people's collections in our own virtual tour as well. I love the idea of linking to other collections that have tours or maps or things and kind of cross-promoting in that way. But I wouldn't want to overburden city staff with updating and keeping up with other people's collections. So that would just be my thing of caution. It would be awesome, but we have a hard time. I don't even know if the most recent stuff has been added, frankly. So
yeah. Okay.
And who adds that, Allison? Who adds new works every year?
Benita had an intern who made the tour and
Right.
worked with them on it. I think Benita has leaned on communications or whoever within the city has the knowledge to update it. So at this point, I don't know who would add stuff to it. Erin, I don't know. Do you know?
I will check. I don't know much about that. So yes, I'm putting a note here.
That seems like a more feasible goal, just to even update the city's interactive, the public art collection for the city. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And then does that, was there somebody on the commission that was kind of feeding Benita that art to then add to that, or how did that process work?
No.
We really had started it, right? It was just kind of an idea, wasn't it, Allison?
Well, so it's already made, but like as projects come online, they have not been added. There is no process for feeding that information. We could come up with one, but I think
Okay.
I don't know if it's part of the communications group or what. We've talked about having reviews of our website, reviews of our, things to keep them up to date. So
Mhm.
that kind of falls under that purview, maybe.
Great.
Are there any other updates to the plan that people have? We've got the leadership and art placemaking work group. Looks like I'm on that with Sarah Fuller and Jamal. We were also thinking if there are work groups that we should eliminate or combine, since we have a lot going on here.
But Mary, could you
So-
pull up the outreach? Not Mary, Aaron. I think you were sharing your screen, maybe Aaron. The outreach. So myself, Marionetta, and Sophie recently met. I think this kind of started as an idea towards the end of the last meeting that I missed. But we met recently to brainstorm ideas on possibly making a statement as a commission about how we want to oppose some of the directives and orders that the government is making on art. I don't know if we just met Marionetta as a just as us, or if we met as the outreach. I'm not really sure if it falls under that, but I didn't know if Sophie added it to the document or not. But that is something that we are working on, that we want to present first to this group, and then next step, eventually present a statement to Ann Arbor City Council in hopes that we can then get some community partners to get behind it, to kind of make a stance on some of the restrictions they're trying to put on art and artists, this current regime. So
Do you have anything that you could share out with the commission aside from the National Endowment for Arts? I am not privy to any other federal regulations that might affect us.
But
And or what?
sorry.
So are you referring to a specific bill or program?
Sophie has some great articles that I could pull up and send to you. I can't. I'm on my phone, so it'd be tough for me to
Yeah.
get them now.
Yeah. No, I think just for future, just so we can all be on the same page. If we're going to make a statement and all kind of stand by it, maybe we should all be reading the same information.
Yeah, that was the goal. We wanted to kind of start the ball rolling between us, and then present it to the rest of the team soon.
Good idea.
And I don't know if this works or not timing wise with what you guys were thinking, but and I think Mary talked about the fact that we're putting together grant guidelines to start doing grants for public art projects from our endowment. And that could be a direct reflection of how we believe investing in the arts is important, especially given the current, environment that the arts are in and funding wise. So it could be somehow related, but doesn't have to be.
Yeah. No, I mean it sounds related to me. Marionetta, I don't know what you think.
Yeah.
I think so.
yeah, I think we just really had this kind of informal conversation just to kind of talk about, I, I think the push was to be a little more proactive. I think the question came up, does the commission have a stance, or does the city have a stance? Or are there guidelines that we are supposed to be following? And I think that we couldn't answer those questions. So we, started to think about, well, we're not in the programs that we have, not really getting heavily federally funded, but we were gonna kind of look at some of the language that has been used and think about kind of what's important for us as a community in terms of language that we would feel comfortable using, because it sooner or later, I think we're going to come up against this issue. And we just felt like we didn't want to be caught flat-footed. And so it would be a good discussion for us all, and we would just start the ball rolling. Sophie's drafted
Right.
up a just a kind of very short, like page and a half kind of draft, and we could share that with everyone. And but we just thought it would be good to get started on thinking about this.
Right. Yeah.
Sophie included, good evening, everyone. I'm so sorry for my tardiness, by the way. Hello. She did share those notes from that meeting with me, so I just forwarded it to everyone who's here tonight. So you should
Okay.
have that in your email also to review, to maybe put on an agenda for an upcoming meeting.
I love the
Thank you,
idea
sir.
of like framing how much we value the arts and what their importance are within our city, et cetera. And then also being talking about how we're being proactive about supporting the arts. And doing that in a positive way as opposed to a negative would be my stance on it. But
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the goal.
great.
Yeah.
Love it. And I think that type of language serves us as a commission in all sorts of ways, right? Not, not just given current circumstances, but moving forward as we try to bring more money to the arts and support in the arts, et cetera.
Right. Yep.
If I added a note about developing a value statement, am I characterizing that correctly?
Hey,
Yeah.
Aaron, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you're updating the right document because I have the one that everyone's been adding to up on my screen and it looks different than yours.
Oh, does it? Okay. I
'Cause I
grabbed the
had
one
changed
as
all the
of,
years.
oh, okay.
I just want to make sure that because I know that John, a number of people have added to this Google Drive document.
There is.
Is it the
I do
same
have
one?
some comments. There's
Okay.
comment, but I did grab it 2
Hey.
days ago. So if
Maybe go to the
something-
top because I took out the boxes. That'll tell us. If you go to the very top of it. Yes. Okay. Then I do believe you're on the correct one. My apologies.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Do we want to take a quick pause and introduce Anna Gersh, since we do have everybody, just so that Anna doesn't have to linger for our entire planning session? Anna, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight. This is most of the Ann Arbor Public Art Commission. I know you know me. Would you like us to go around and just quickly introduce ourselves?
Yeah, that would be great, since I have not had a chance to Google every single one of you while I've been here, but I should.
You started? Start Googling Jamal. He's probably the most fascinating.
She knows me. But I'll go first. Hey Anna, Jamal Bufford. Yeah, you know me.
I do. Should we popcorn Sarah?
Hi, so nice to meet you. So yes, I'm Sarah Fuller. I've been on the Art Commission since 2020, so since the pandemic. And my day job, I work for Motawi Tile Works here in town. I run their retail department. My background is in art sales and marketing, and education in art history. And I am raised in Ann Arbor, K through 12. So I really love this town, and I love to see what this group can do to just optimize this amazing place that I absolutely love.
How about Allison? I'll call on people. I had 30 years in education. I don't have a problem having people talk.
Hey, Anna, I'm Allison Neal. I am currently with the Guild of Artists and Artisans, which puts on the Ann Arbor Summer Art Fair and 7 other art fairs, runs the Gutman Gallery. I've been on the commission since 2018. I've been vice chair, and happy to just be a commissioner right now. And several years ago, worked at the Arts Alliance for several years, so familiar with your world.
How about Marionetta?
Hi, I'm Marionetta. I've been on the Arts Commission, I think 3 years, maybe. I'm retired from U of M. I taught this professor at the School of Art and Design. And now I am enjoying working on my own work and trying to connect with arts communities here in Ann Arbor and become more involved.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, how about Peggy?
I'm Peggy Leonard. I'm not sure how long I've been on the commission. Sarah, I know I came on a little bit before you. Did you just say 5 years? So maybe I've been on
5 years now, yeah.
6 years or 7. I'm a retired Ann Arbor Public Schools art teacher. I just retired, well, almost a year ago. And I taught K-12 art in the Ann Arbor schools. And currently live in Ann Arbor. Lived here my whole life too, like Sarah. I'm a townie.
Nice. And Erin?
My name's Erin Donnelly. I'm the interim staff liaison. I'm the environmental services manager for the city, and I'm also the liaison to the Environmental Commission.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Mary, I know you very well. Oh, there's CTN. Exciting.
We're going
okay.
live.
I'm gonna I wrote something because Mary told me I had 10 minutes only, so I can just go on. And so I'm gonna manage myself with reading. Anyway, so my name is Anna Gersh. I'm the administrative director for A2 Jazz Fest. I'm the interim director for Creative Washtenaw and the board president for Ground Cover News. My background is 30 years in classroom education, and I got my doctorate in educational evaluation in 2014 and worked as a program evaluator for out-of-school time programs in Eastern Washtenaw County and Wayne County for about 6 years at Bright Futures. With 14 years of program evaluation, I'm also an active member of my professional organization, American Evaluation Association's both co-chair of Human Services Evaluation and the Topical Interest Group, and chair of the Strategic Planning Implementation Task Force. I always make it a point to represent all of these professional experiences because I see an important relationship between the human services writ large, including education and the work we support at Ground Cover News, and the arts. Tonight, I'm also here to introduce several projects that I believe the Arts Commission should be aware of as they provide benefits to support local educational sustainability, multi-generational engagement, and cross-community collaboration goals that leverage and engage the arts and arts community to achieve these goals. The first of these are 2 programs with the A2 Jazz Fest. The All-Stars program is a partnership between A2 Jazz Fest and Johnny Lawrence Summer Music Series, so it is a cross-community music program. It's currently hosted at Ypsilanti Community Middle School and serves families from Whitmore Lake, Plymouth Canton, Ypsi, Ann Arbor, Belleville, with linked performances for the Ann Arbor Art Fair, also at A2 Jazz Fest and Johnny Lawrence Summer Music Series. The other project that we're working on right now, and for which I am actually actively seeking funding from the Commission and others, is a partnership with the Ann Arbor Hands-On Museum. It's called the Traveling Sound Museum. Oh, let me, can I add something to the chat? I have some links for you. I don't know how to do that. Q&A?
I don't think that chat
I
is an
can't give it,
option.
I can't give you any information, but we just had a really nice article in Concentrate, and there are posters up around Ann Arbor and Ipsy for the Traveling Sound Museum, which is a full day of food, science, and an instrument making contest with a local group of elders wherever the school. We're doing it at Odindi Freedom School in West Willow, and also at Ypsilanti Community Middle School. At Odindi, it's on the 15th of May, so next week, and at Ipsy Middle School, it's on the 22nd. We've had food donations from Cups and Chai, Blue Llama, Jazz Club, and I'm trying to get another food donation from Maiz in Ipsy. And so families will come, they will get to enjoy science exhibits provided by Hands-On Museum by about the physics of sound, and then they'll be assigned to multi-generational teams, and they will engage in an instrument making contest that'll be judged by a group of elders from their community. There's a lot of details. I'll just let you know that you should come and check it out because it's free and open to the public. As interim director of Creative Washtenaw, I've been in that position since December, and in that time I've been working on learning about the organization, supporting and growing the convenings, including the Creative Washtenaw Happy Hour and the Party, which some of you may be aware of, by building membership around the idea of identifying Creative Washtenaw as the only professional organization for the arts and creative industries in Washtenaw County. And it's the only professional organization so far as it is a cross-disciplinary arts organization. So what's interesting about that is that we have not only the happy hour, which is open to all kinds of people. We want people to be members, but it's an opportunity for convenings. But the party is a large event that brings a lot of artists together. My goal is to do something a little bit different this way. It's been about half approved by the board. I think it's going to go all the way through. But what I want to do is celebrate the membership. And so I want to have an art fair of members. To get into the art fair, it'll be a nominal fee, but they'll have to answer a question that says, that answers the question, what does art do for community? The answers given by all of these artists who apply to be in our little art fair will be blown up, turned into a word cloud and blown up and placed prominently so that when people come in, they will see what artists think art does for community. They'll have access to walking hors d'oeuvres, and they'll be able to go and enjoy the art fair. And then we're going to have a panel. And the panel will be about what art is used for in a very practical sense. And so we'd like to host members of youth populations, veterans, and other traumatized groups, people that use art as a way to mitigate the effects of trauma. And there are many groups that do that, so that we can have a pretty in-depth conversation with a whole bunch of people in the room who have come to support Creative Washtenaw and are in the habit of doing that at a big public event, to turn it into an opportunity to examine exactly what this commission is here for, which is art, to think about what it does for us, what we gain from supporting it. I was thinking while you guys were talking, this might be actually a great opportunity for you guys to talk about some of the things that you are doing here. It could be a wonderful platform to share these ideas and these opportunities. And we'd certainly love to be able to support that and make space for it, as we are regarding ourselves as the only professional organization for the arts, cross-disciplinary professional organization for the arts and creative industries in Washtenaw County. A couple of interesting projects Creative Washtenaw still has going on. Power Art, we just put up 11 new original art works on power boxes. We've done 47 total. This is a project that's sunsetting, but a new project that we're engaging with House into Home. And I believe they are going to be also participating in the party. So that's all of this gets pieced out and supported and threaded into my work as board president of Ground Cover News, which you may or may not know is a street paper that is sold by vendors largely from high impact of poverty, the highly impacted by poverty population. This is an entrepreneurial opportunity that allows people, regardless of their sort of conventional capacity for work, to be able to earn money and keep that money for themselves. We're just beginning to do some meaningful data collection to be able to describe what the impact is around for that value, for what ground cover does for the vendors, and ultimately for the community, because it is it's our only local newspaper. So and we do an arts issue every year. So that is all the stuff I wanted to share with you. And I want to introduce myself because you may see me again as I go through lots of public meetings trying to support these projects.
That's great. Thank you, Anna. Do you have dates like for the art party or any of these events that you mentioned that we should?
Yep. I'm gonna be able to give you all the stuff. So the Traveling Sound Museum at Odindi Freedom School is May 15th. The Traveling Sound Museum at Ypsilanti Community Middle School is May 22nd. The party is October 15th. That's going to be a Wednesday. And any other stuff? I think those are all the specific events that I have dates for right now.
Where's the party held at, Anna?
It's going to be at Washtenaw Community College.
Okay.
I saw some of the power art boxes going up. They look really great. Congratulations.
Yeah, they're great.
How many total are there around the city?
There have been 47 total. There are 11 new ones. I do not have the exact number of the others. Those are the ones that I'm paying attention to, the total and the 11 new ones. But you know what? I'm going to find out for you, Mary, and I'm going to get back to you.
Are they running out of boxes? Is that why they're sunsetting the project?
Well, I think, truthfully, I think the reason they're sunsetting the project is because there's a lot of transition at Creative Washtenaw, and it was a big lift with a lot of sort of distributed responsibility. There was some confusion about ultimately who was going to pay for pieces of it in the end. Right now, that's all nailed down, but and like I said, I've only been here since December and been mainly spending a lot of time just trying to figure out what the org is and what it has the potential to do, especially in this, very uncertain funding landscape.
For
It's like
sure.
there are opportunities that maybe we still have to explore.
Exciting. And then you mentioned some type of a connection with House into Home. I'm connected to that group. I wondered what your connection's going to be with them.
They are going to, she's one of the folks, the person I met with is somebody I'd like to put on that panel because it's just so interesting to listen to her describe the ritual of care that goes into supporting somebody else
Mhm.
to be able to make choices. People who have not had very many choices, they are able to make
Mhm.
choices with their program about what they would like to have in their home. And it was so illuminating to,
Yeah.
you know, hear her describe how people resist. Like they don't trust that you really mean they can choose.
Right.
So they choose things at that's really low level, and it just struck me as like, wow, this is, I sort of didn't, it took me a minute to get how important it was.
Yeah, it's a really cool organization. Are most of you guys familiar with them? They've just had a big program because I have a sister-in-law who's really involved in it. All the U of M students moved out, and House into Home rents these big trucks, and they go around and they get first pick of all the furniture and all the reusable stuff that students are just going to throw away. I mean, it's just, yeah, and that's just one aspect of what they do. But then they, help people when they get their first homes. They set them up, and it's really cool. They provide them with a meal. I mean, it's amazing. And there's like many I haven't volunteered yet, but there are many opportunities to kind of come in and do what your own little niche might be. My sister-in-law is a furniture painter, so she takes a lot of this furniture that's just, on the side of the road. It can't be like junk stuff. It has to be kind of nice. They repair it and then she paints it so it looks beautiful when it goes into somebody's first home. So it's
Yeah,
cool.
that's right. It as an art sort of stylized intermediary, it's actually like amazingly like effective at getting art in people's lives.
Mhm.
It allows folks to make choices. And all these people like your sister, like there are so many retired artists
Mhm.
that don't want the big labor associated, but you get such a bang for your buck to be able to be engaged in something like this. Um, and
Cool.
so there's tons of, I mean, the woman I talked to, she's the executive director. She's been doing this for free for 10 years. And just her description of the process that she goes through with people to sort of get their choices and then to collect the items. I mean, she will not put anything in anyone's house she wouldn't put in her own house. And that's the standard she transmits to her volunteers. I mean, I thought it was amazing. Anyway, you know, it's it's a great description of how important art is,
Mhm.
how effective it is, she was describing all these, individuals that like got the couch in the color they asked for and how astonished they were, like when, or they like a picture that they got put in their home. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's a really very practical way of engaging people with art. And, one of the things that struck me when she was talking is that as an educator, I work with these educational assessments, and choice is a huge factor in development. People have to be able to choose to be self-actualized. They have to make choices about their own life. And this is a great place where you get lots of choices. Yeah, but just very interesting.
It is. Cool.
Anyway, I'm excited to hear her talk more. Hi, Cynthia.
Welcome, Cynthia.
Hi, Anna. Good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I was on my way from 2 other meetings,
I'm sure we're just
ridiculously overlapping. Yeah. So,
Well, Anna, we're very excited to have you meet with us this evening, and just know that you're an ally in the arts, and we want you to know that we're here as well. If we can help be a liaison between the city and creative projects. We act as an advisory board for folks that come through Creative Washtenaw programs, and also different organizations, artists, people with inquiries, questions, finances, art. So if we can be a resource for you or anybody on your team, let us know. And also, it's just nice to have an update on what Creative Washtenaw will be doing this spring and summer, and ways that we can overlap.
Yes.
Do you have any questions for the commission, or does anybody else have any comments or questions for Anna?
Well, thank you all so much for giving me an opportunity to speak to you tonight. I'm gonna reach back out. I think it sounds like you guys will have something to add to the party, and we want to make sure the city is heard. If you have any inclination, please consider coming to one of the Creative Washtenaw happy hours. It seems like a member of this group ought to be part of, there's another thing that, another convening we do called the Cultural Leaders Forum. It seems like a member of this group might, we would love to, let me just say this, I would like to invite a member of this group to join us for our Cultural Leaders Forum. The next one is May 16th. It's going to be at the Ruthven office. If anyone's interested, just maybe get your send Mary if you would consider
Yeah.
coming.
No, I think that's great, and it's exactly what I'm referring to. I think that definitely one of us would love to be a part of that. So if anybody is interested and wants more information, they can email me. I'll also send out your email, Anna, to everybody. The Cultural Leaders Forum. Yeah, I'd love to know more about that in the future.
Yeah, this is definitely something an Arts Commission member should be part of. And don't forget
Good.
happy hour. The happy hour is always fun. Meet lots of cool.
When is the next one, girl?
It is May 28th, and it's going to be in Chelsea. And if you don't want to go that far, I think our next one is definitely going to be in either Ann Arbor or Ipsy. So it's a little
That far, people.
sorry, Jackson.
Where's
What-
it,
so
where's it
what's-
gonna be
what's
at
the
in
venue?
Chelsea? Where's it gonna be
Yeah.
at in Chelsea?
Ugly Dog Distillery.
Okay.
Awesome. We paint their windows.
I'm in
Those guys are
Chelsea
great.
right now, so I would love to come to that one.
Yeah.
Yay, I'm so glad I brought it up. May 28th, 4:30 to 6, Ugly Dog Distillery. Please give Mary, like, if I can just send, I'm happy to put you all on the mailing list if you would like to be.
Yeah. No, I'll make sure you have all the commissioners' emails. I think, if folks on the commission are so inclined to do a little more research with Creative Washtenaw, even become a member, I think it's a really valuable way to stay connected to all the things that you guys are doing. And we're grateful for you in the community on so many levels. When do you know when you become the ED? How long is interim? Is it interim? Interim? Interim.
I really like doing programming. That's what I like to do. My goal for my next 6 months, if they have an off, I'm not supposed to, it's just between,
Well, this is a public meeting, so maybe you just keep it.
Let me stop talking. Creative Washtenaw is an amazing organization. Everyone should be a member. Talk offline.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Anna, for your time. You're amazing. We appreciate you in this community so much.
Okay, bye.
And you're welcome to
Bye,
hang
Anna.
out, or you can
Thank
leave.
you.
Okay. She's like, peace. That was great. Any comments about Anna's presentation or thoughts?
I would say for the Cultural Leaders Forum, it should either be Mary or Sarah, our current leadership, because that's generally who goes to those meetings. It's like the directors of all of the local organizations.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe Sarah, you and I can go together. We can talk about it or see what's up. And if there's anybody else that has a real interest in knowing more, certainly they'd be welcome to.
I'd
I'd
love
like you to keep,
go, yeah.
I'd like you to keep us updated on the happy hours. That would be fun. I think if we kind of,
Well, if you get onto Creative Washtenaws mailing list, I get
Okay.
notifications about them every month.
okay,
And
cool.
they have an amazing newsletter. Creative Washtenaw has the best newsletter for grants, opportunities, like what we're reading right now, art advocacy on a state level. They're an exceptional organization. So yeah, if anything, become a member or sign up for their newsletter, and you will definitely get all the updates on the happy hours and many granting opportunities, because they are a re-granting organization for the Michigan Arts and Culture Council. So, well,
I
for those,
thought it'd be
yeah,
a presentation or some sort of participation as a commission at the party might be a
Mhm.
goal of ours
Mhm.
for this upcoming year. So that might be something we want to assign to a particular working group. Maybe first just to get a little more information about what that looks like. But I think that would be a nice way to make ourselves more visible.
Good. Yeah, I agree, Sarah. Well, just to kind of get back to where we were going through the Ann Arbor Public Art Commission 2025 plan and goals. This is going to be approved by City Council. We're a little behind in the calendar year, so we're really trying to make any updates to that in this meeting tonight. And we've gotten through a couple of committees. Maybe, Erin, you could just pull up the document. We can just go through each committee, and then ideally, if there's things we need to strike or add, or if committees need to be combined, if people need to do, I don't know if we need to add or subtract people from certain working groups right now or not. Is that also a charge for us, Erin, or reassigning working groups?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I
that
guess
makes
if
sense.
people want to volunteer to leave or add themselves, now would be a good time to make that change. So everybody should have looked at the document and made updates. We were talking with Jamal and Marianetta about their meeting with Sophie. We decided that the commission could potentially work towards making a statement. What did you refer to it as, Erin?
I called it a value statement. I don't know if that is the correct
Okay, right.
description.
Yep, that works for now.
Okay.
Maybe we can strike the Instagram since it's created now.
Okay. Okay, continue, right? All right. So this is our.
Sophie is stepping off of the commission, so so there's a space, I guess, in the communications working group. So I don't know if we want to add someone, or at least take Sophie's name off of that working group for now.
I know she wants to stay on. I can't speak to this one. She mentioned she wanted to stay on at least special projects, the work group. I'm not sure about the communications. So
Right.
we can check with her.
As a non-voting member, I'd like to step on the communications working group.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Does populating the Instagram fall under this group?
I
Or
would
we
think
also-
so. But yeah, we'd want to replace the establish
Yeah,
the Facebook and Instagram with
populate.
creating content and populating, yeah.
And I don't know if this had been shared, but at some point we were trying to get an intern, a college student, someone who loves Instagram to come up with a plan for populating that, whether or not it was literally just like taking our public art tour and one by one putting those images up on the Instagram and like parsing out that content. So I'm not on this working group, so I'm just sharing with you guys. That was something we had talked about doing at one point, didn't actually achieve, but might be a way to get that populated without you guys having to do all the labor.
That's a wonderful idea. I think I remember that coming up a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
All right, well, we all know a lot of young people. I think a Ann Arbor Public Art Commission intern would, youth liaison.
Yeah. I mean, it feels that requirement too. We're requirement, but that we had wanted to have someone young on the commission or working with the commission or whatever.
Anything else for the, all right, for the communications work group? Did you add the value statement to that, Erin?
Yeah, it's up here.
Oh, okay, I see what you got going
Yep.
on. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Outreach. So we discussed adding youth, maybe even bringing youth onto the commission. Any additions or subtractions from outreach?
I just had a question, back up in the communications. Did we kind of table the public art tour kind of initiative for now? We were talking before, we had a conversation with our guests, so I just wanted to be clear about that. Whether we were gonna just kind of try to provide digital links to other art spaces or tours, or are we talking about trying to come up with something ourselves? And 3.2. Explore the possibility of
Oh.
in-person public art tours.
I mean,
I remember a conversation about like a docent-led public art tour that would actually be a walking tour versus a digital version, which could be really exciting. However, I don't know the feasibility of like putting that together and staffing it, unless we really, really, really feel strongly about creating some sort of in-person tour. I think in my mind, establishing and updating the digital version and getting more visibility on that first, maybe with the help of new social media channels that we have, would be a first step before creating some sort of in-person docent-led tour. Although I agree, I think that could be more exciting. That's my memory of that conversation.
Okay, I agree.
I mean, I think if it's something you guys think would be cool and want to explore, that's all it says you have to do is explore the possibility, see what's possible. Then you leave it, right? You don't have to accomplish everything. These are kind of like all our big picture ideas we would love to happen in some way.
Okay.
And I think that's why we use the word explore the possibility of rather than create an in-person public art tour, because this is kind of like the first steps of seeing if something like that could happen. Obviously, it didn't happen last year, but doesn't mean it couldn't happen this year if it's something you guys are still engaged with and want to explore. I think we would remove it if we were like, heck no, we're not doing that. Then we would take it off. But
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. Sounds like you guys, I mean, I think it's still a cool thing. I'm not on that group, but I think it would be cool if you guys explored it.
I do have a goal that I just kind of learned about in more detail today that I'm not sure which working group it would be added to. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the NCECA conference. This is the National Council for the Education of Ceramic Arts. This is a nationwide, actually international conference that happens every year in different locations across the country, and it's coming to Detroit in 2026. And this attracts thousands of ceramics artists, educators, and students to the area. So last year it was in Salt Lake City. The year before, I believe it was in Richmond. I attended Virginia. It was in Cincinnati. The year before that, I got to attend that conference. And there's talk of creating an Ann Arbor Day, where we would create a series of programming surrounding Ann Arbor and the ceramics community, but also the art community in general that exists in Ann Arbor. And again, this is an international conference. You just have thousands of people with an interest in arts and education coming from all over. And again, it's in talks of creating this Ann Arbor Day, partnering with our sister company, Roven Ceramics, UMA. We hope to get the Art Center involved, maybe some other arts organizations. I think the Art Commission might be a great group to help advocate to create an Ann Arbor Day with this conference. The day that would be is March 28th, which is a Saturday of 2026. So there still is a lot of time to plan. But I thought this might be a nice goal to put on, sort of helping create this Ann Arbor Day as part of the NCECA conference. But I was not sure if that would be a special project, if that would be outreach, if there is interest in doing this. I think it would be beneficial to showcase the arts community in Ann Arbor to a unique group of people. Ceramicists are fun. And that's kind of a different visual art medium to explore within the Ann Arbor community with this group.
I could see that falling under C of the outreach group.
Right? Yeah.
I think C could also be like we were talking about, participating in the party. Like those types of opportunities are kind of related as far as talking about what we do and why the arts are important within the city.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Erin, can you add those to the outreach? You are, okay, amazing.
Maybe
Do
just
you
like,
want to call that out specifically, or do we think that kind of falls under C?
maybe
Oh,
just
okay.
put in parentheses like examples, party, which is lowercase p, capital ARTY, and then how do you spell the name of that conference, Sarah?
It's NCECA, pronounced NCECA. But I always forget the exact acronym, but I can send out the website so that everyone can just check it out.
Cool.
Excellent. Great suggestions. Who is on the outreach group? I don't see any names under the, did that get kind of formatted
I think,
underneath?
didn't it all get consolidated?
Oh.
Communications and outreach
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, it says now
Combined.
combined.
Oh, okay, great.
Should I get rid of the now combined? Yeah.
Sure, okay.
Okay.
Great.
So it's the same folks on both then,
Anybody
like
else
same
want to
meetings and stuff.
join? It's the
I don't-
growing outreach and communications group. Okay,
I don't think anyone else can join. We already have
okay.
commissioners on it, right? Jamal,
1, 2, 3,
Mary,
4.
Anna.
Yeah, you're right. No more than 4.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Fundraising is updated.
Okay.
I added myself to nominations and leadership just to support John, if that is at all helpful, but I think that's also updated.
Great. Leadership and art placement work group.
Do we have new people coming onto the commission? I see it says fill the open position.
Well, not yet. don't-
We have
the
two
position.
or three.
We
Wait,
definitely have
Allison,
one,
what'd you say, Allison?
potentially 2 open positions.
I said the position has just opened, right? Sophie's leaving.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
didn't we have a position before? No, we had 9? Okay. I thought we were always looking for
And
one.
we've
No, we filled it.
received a lot of applications. So there's a good amount of interest.
Yes, the city has on file at least 6 applicants interested in the commission. Which Sarah and I have both, I think both reviewed briefly, but can look, could get together with Jamal and Fong to really narrow that down in the coming months. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say if you have anyone in mind, Peggy, or anyone else that you think would like to be on the commission, now is the time for them to apply.
Okay.
I believe the application's still on the website. It's always on the website, but yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Somebody just recently told, it might have been Sophie. Marionetta, when we met with Sophie, I think she said the Ipsy Art Commission is kind of no longer.
Yes,
Right.
it was, when I met with, I can't remember his name, the gentleman that was heading it up, they were kind of in flux. They were talking about merging with the recreation department or some other department. And he said he'd get back to me, but I never did hear from him. So I don't know where that went, whether they merged with another group or what happened.
I can reach out to some people who I were originally a part of it, just to double check and get confirmation on that.
Okay.
Are we ready to move on to special projects?
Is I just to make room also for our brand new commissioner who will be coming on soon. I'd like to remove myself from this working group.
Fix my
And
group.
that we were discussing the number 2 item here, expand the online virtual public art tour to include non-city public artworks. Did we decide to strike that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, we could say exploring exploring the possibility of expanding and leave it on there if you want.
I mean, I don't think there's
I'm
any,
all for striking that, maybe. I mean,
I think there's an opportunity to link to other collections if we wanted to encourage people to explore other collections, but I would be hesitant to maintaining our own list of other collections.
Mm.
Yeah, linking, like if we were able to cross promote the Art Center's public art tour, if they were interested in cross promoting the city's collection, I don't
Right.
know. Mhm.
so maybe instead of like U of M specifically, we could just say, like Allison said, just other
Arts organizations, yeah.
and other public art collections within the city of Ann Arbor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Other public art, yes, great.
You know, jumping back up to the Golden Paintbrush Award, we do that every 2 years. So do you think we need to put that in there that it's done? Would that be biannually? I don't know what that
Mm-hmm.
determining. Should that be put in there?
Mm-hmm.
The
So
process.
is this a buy year? We did the Golden
Yes.
Paintbrush last
So
year.
it-
Okay.
It's gonna go live any day now. Robert Keller from the city's been working on it for us, so
Great.
yeah. And then number 1, where it has identify new annual physical award. We're working on the judging and setting up a council meeting. I think it'll be in October when the winners will be announced. And we usually give them a certificate. In the past, Sarah, I know we've given them like a Burton tile, a Matawi tile. Remember we talked about having a tile made?
And
then
we
last-
actually have, I think we gave these murals that were mounted. It was 4 pieces of 6x6 tile. So it made, a nice big award that you can hang on the wall. And I have more of those. If that's something that we want to do again, or if we want to do something else.
Maybe we don't even need to put that in there for identifying new annual physical award, but I do think we were gonna talk about it. Whether we wanted to give the same tile or with all the ceramic artists in this community, did we want to have somebody make, a specific golden paintbrush tile type? So maybe we'll just discuss it later.
Okay, yes. Well, I have the link to tiles, so
Okay,
I can
perfect.
help with that. And I can I can send photos of what I do have that I know is available in that 12-inch by 12-inch size can be really impressive for awards.
Yeah, okay. Maybe let's put on our agenda for later, but I don't even know if we need to put it on there. I mean, the winners do get a certificate and some type of physical award, but I don't know if it needs to go on our document here. Should we strike it or leave it on?
We could just say identify physical award.
Okay.
I guess that's part of doing the whole thing. So
Okay.
if we wanted something custom, that would be, I think, more involved. So
I wonder if the word promote should be changed to manage or something, because you guys aren't just promoting the selection, you're doing the whole shebang, right? I want to give you guys credit where credit's due.
facilitate.
Yes.
Okay.
And sorry, I had an action item that I'm checking with Robert Keller, but I didn't put what I'm checking about related to this. Can you remind me?
Oh, did we talk about this earlier?
Yes.
Well, I think just the last few days we've been tweaking out the document that he was going to have go live on the Golden Paintbrush Award. There were some questions about the criteria and just the wording and things, but like,
Okay.
I think we just want to, I mean, it doesn't need to be in this document, but we were, as a commission, just wanted to be aware of when it was going to be made public.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay.
Just a heads up, everybody, I have to jump in like 5 minutes. Just a heads up.
Thank you, Jamal.
Thanks.
No problem.
This last section was included in last year's plan and goals, and it's my thought that we should strike it. Not that the percent for art isn't something we can revisit, but I personally don't see it as a goal for this year, seeing as that we now have an endowment that we can draw from and create our own mini grants. That's kind of the good news, Jamal, is that we have $22,000 in an endowment that we can draw from. And we're going to be discussing that as part of our just part of our business after this, just so you know. So we are going to be talking about creating either multiple mini grants to gift out this year or spreading it out. But it looks like every year we'll have around $5,000 to give. So this is super exciting.
Okay. Cool.
And we'll get to design the parameters of what that looks like.
Sweet. Okay.
Mary, I agree with striking the percent for art for this year. It also seems like the updates we've received from the DDA that there is a somewhat of a percent for art program going on within that group. And I think focusing on our own endowment and visibility, golden paintbrush. I mean, these are some really exciting big initiatives. And again, I mean, we can always revisit bringing this back up, but I agree that there are many other exciting projects on our horizon for this year, and this can always come back up.
Yeah, I would be okay with striking it. If the leadership group was interested in having conversations around the sustainability of the art commission and the work that we do and exploring avenues for revenue sources, that might be like an added thing that could kind of be in this nature somewhere within the document. So it doesn't totally go away.
Mhm.
But that's, I guess I would say only if the leadership is interested in having those conversations.
I think the reason this actually even came up is because it has that line in there. I do not know Sue McCormick, but someone thought with her return that she would be a real advocate and really push for this. And you guys know Sue? I don't know Sue.
She
this
was the interim public works, or sorry, public services area administrator. So we now have someone permanent in that position. So that information is no longer.
So
I think
Sue-
that John knew her and thought that she would be a good.
So Sue's no longer in that role?
Correct. She was an interim as we found
Oh.
someone permanent for that position. So Jordan Roberts is the new area
Got it.
administrator.
This is all old language from last year's meeting.
Right.
Mhm. Exactly.
An initiative that John had brought forward, and we all thought, yeah, this would be cool to talk about this year, and then we didn't.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
it's deciding whether it's relevant to this year moving forward. And, you know, given the shift of Sue and I think our initiatives, probably not.
Right, I agree.
But I think it was brought up in the heart of, we're a volunteer commission. It would be great if there was some sort of funding source to help the projects we'd like to see go forward happen. And it would probably make this commission a more sustainable commission, the public art works in the city more sustainable to actually happen in a bigger way. And so that spirit of that conversation used to live before this conversation that's in this document. When Deb was on this group for a while, we talked about going and asking for a budget line item. So there's been various different conversations about funding streams for public art and or this commission and or a staff person at the city, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I think the spirit of this is. And I would love to see that spirit somewhere within our document, but if it's not something we want to do this year, or I would say if it's not something leadership wants to talk about this year, then we don't talk about it. It really should fall under leadership to champion any sort of ask for funding or ideas around funding the commission.
But it could stay under additional, what was that? Additional and ongoing ideas.
Yeah, I think it could stay under, yeah, something in the spirit of finding funding sources or sustainability for public art projects moving forward, not necessarily calling out all of these specific, the
Right.
specific language is really from that meeting more than
And
that.
might be nice at some point to invite this new person who's now in this role to one of our meetings to kind of just have a discussion with her about, going forward in our vision. Just a thought. What'd you say her name is again, Erin? I'm going to write it down.
The public services area administrator
Yeah.
is Jordan Roberts.
Jordan. Okay.
Taking off, y'all. Take care, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jamal. Great to see you.
You too.
Having fun.
Maybe we could say something additional and ongoing ideas. This is like from this year and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it kind of already implies that.
I just don't, for a document that's going to go to city council, I wouldn't want them to think this is something we're like
Oh, that's true.
adding and doing, so it could get confusing if we kept it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We won't be arguing over it.
So
Horizon issues.
future planning.
Future planning.
Yeah,
Future
future
years,
planning, 2026 and beyond. But yeah, that begs the question, like, don't read this yet. But
It could be just like
where
things that we
our
don't want to
thoughts
lose
are.
track of, right? Things we don't want to lose track of. We want to keep on our
Right.
radar, but we just don't have the capacity to do right now. I don't know.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I like that line, a vision for sustainability of art projects for the city. We don't have to say the whole reactivate the % for art programs. We just, because we all know what that means, right?
But that's an idea, to do that would be to
Right.
reactivate that
Right.
% for art.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could just say a vision for sustainability for art projects, and you don't have to, you have to identify what you're thinking at that point. I think a kind of visionary kind of
Thinking, yeah.
sweeping,
I
I
like
think
it.
that says it all. I don't think we need to be specific.
Agree.
Great. I
Okay.
think we're all in agreement.
Okay, and then we have two others under this umbrella as well.
Yeah, John had some big ideas last year, which were really fun to hear. But yeah, let's see, the TV show.
I'd love to see us get more press in general first,
Mhm.
before making our own TV show, though that's never off the table.
Starring us.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
I would too.
The real life of commissioners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think what I'm remembering something that kind of came out of this discussion, and it was trying to invite more people like Anna or other artists to our meetings to just add value to what we're seeing, what we're hearing. just meeting other artists in the community that are doing things.
And the general public.
Yeah, the general public for sure. Like I kind of feel like that is where that was going when John was talking about the TV show, you know, because there's just so many exceptional humans that we know and meet in the arts in our community.
Well, I think we can use our Instagram to this effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, sharing information. There could be reels. There could be,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So I think we're gonna encapsulate that with our intern.
Yeah. Well, and to just let people know when the meetings are on
Yeah, that's true.
Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
this is how to jump on. I mean, and that's something you can do, just repeat it
Yeah.
for every meeting.
And I think 3 we're doing with our grant.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we can strike that too. Strike 2 and 3, we're doing it.
Okay,
Different way.
I like it. Okay.
There was a section that John had edited about the design review board. I just wanted to make sure we all saw what his suggestion was.
Can you all see that?
His comment or the actual document? I can't, I guess I can enlarge it. Let's see.
I think both. So he's saying there's a goal around the design review board guidelines, and his recommendation is because the board has been eliminated, he's recommending to meet with planning and ask about offering ideas for placemaking.
And offer advice for placemaking. Okay.
Sorry.
So it's kind of continuing the design review board and maybe a more way that is specific to urban planning within the city.
So is the planning department, do they have a commission? Or is what meet with the
They
planning
do.
department? What is that?
So that's probably the city planning department.
Okay.
I would also add that the city's in the middle of our big comprehensive land use plan. And so there might be, that would be worth taking a look at because it's really planning out how the city will be developed in the next, I think it has a 50-year planning horizon. So it's a really long-term plan for changes in the city in the next 50 years. I think I shared that a while ago, but not much context. And so I'll reshare that. And I know staff is doing a concurrent review with the public and also with the Planning Commission. And they've been having weekly meetings where the Planning Commission and it's public and they are discussing the document kind of live. And those are all recorded, but that might be a good opportunity to, if the Art Commission has some feedback for that plan, now would be a great timing.
That's a really good point. It's their live meetings have been recommended to me on YouTube. I've watched a little bit of them. And so that's what you're talking about. Right now they're asking for people to come forward to help build this 50-year plan. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, so it's been drafted
Mhm.
and it's been released for public review. So it's just one big concurrent review. So staff is reviewing it, the Planning Commission is reviewing it, and then the Planning Department has been holding a series of public events where people can come give their feedback. There's also websites that you can just go give your feedback on the website or directly to a planner.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so
That's
the
major.
staff has been doing a bunch of engagement. And so if that's something the Art Commission was interested in, I'm sure we could kind of figure a way for us to do that, to provide feedback if there is some. And I believe the DDA is also updating their plan. And I know less about that one and where they're at with that. but yeah, so both are doing some huge, like, updating their comprehensive plans.
Does that resonate with anybody? Like, has anybody reviewed the plan? I want to look at it now.
Yeah, I'm interested in looking at it. I think if
Mhm.
there's any kind of like formal feedback on behalf of the art commission, this
Mhm.
group would make sense to be the ones that might provide that feedback collectively.
Mhm.
So maybe I don't know if we add or change that number 2, but to mention giving feedback on behalf of the commission for the 50-year plan.
Mhm. Mhm. Is
Um,
there a? Mhm.
in terms of what, creating another group, um, I don't know.
What is that under right now? Can you scroll up a little, Aaron? That's under business owners and developers work group. And it's just John right now. So could maybe that initiative with the making recommendations to the planning department be put into a working group that is more active? Or is
Or it
that
could
something
be, well,
John wants to do, or?
you're
Yeah,
also on the working group,
I know, and I'm gonna
but
take
like
myself
that
off
might
of
not
it.
be, yeah. I think this would be a great opportunity for new commissioners too, of
Uh-huh,
which, we have a quorum on quite a few of these groups.
yeah.
So that could, right, we could,
Yeah, I guess it's all about timing. Aaron, do you know when the deadline for feedback is?
That's a good question. I know they're wrapping up their public engagement right now. I'm just checking.
I wonder if we, yeah,
yeah, you're right, then we would want to put it somewhere else, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Councilmember Harrison, I don't know if you have updated info on that too. I know that's come up a lot in council meetings also.
I do not at the moment.
Okay, thanks.
Mary, are you trying to eliminate this working group?
Not necessarily. I mean, we have this public idea art book. That probably, the whole number 1 could probably be absorbed by special projects. The CIP group could absorb this recommendation to the planning department potentially, since CIP is already working with the city to make recommendations. Yeah, maybe we're eliminating this working group.
I mean, the working group was created to add us to the design review board, which doesn't exist.
Mhm.
So, I
Okay.
mean, I think it was
Historically,
also
John.
in the spirit of like having a presence with designers and builders within the community, not just with the city. So we had that like direct line to buildings when they're getting designed and saying you should include public art in them. But without that direct placement on the design review board, I don't know if that work can happen still.
Then number 2 would probably be what this working group should be about, right, if anything, but that would be driven solely by John at this point.
Sorry to interrupt, but Erin, can you let Sophie in?
Oh, sure. Yeah, sorry, I can't see when I'm
I know.
sharing screen. Hopefully she hasn't been there long.
No, she's texting me.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think about those 2 initiatives being absorbed in 2 other working groups and then
Yeah.
just eliminating that for now? If John has anything to add to, yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yep.
So, sorry, the business owners and developers work group will be absorbed by which work groups?
It's more the line item. So making a
Oh, okay.
recommendation to the planning department can be absorbed by
The
outreach? Or what do you think, Sarah?
Do we think the 50-year plan recommendations
Oh, by CIP
by
is what I thought.
CIP,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other initiative would be absorbed by
Outreach, maybe?
outreach, which would be connecting with developers and designers that are outside of the city.
I think the idea book that he's got going could be under communications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Great.
idea book already exists.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
promote what's already built.
Do you need that repeated, Erin? That was a lot.
Okay, so the number 2, the public art and design. So that's going to kind of shift into the comprehensive land use plan comments, and that will go to the CIP working group.
Yes.
I think number 2, right? I don't know if we're putting that one anywhere, but it's sort of changing number 2 to be feedback for
Mhm.
the 50-year plan, collective feedback on behalf of the Art Commission for the 50-year plan would go under CIP. So number 2 kind of changes to that. Number 1 would go to communications. And then number 3, connecting with the developers, goes to outreach. And I think the only verbiage really that needs to be changed would be for number 2, to be more
Okay.
specific to that 50-year plan. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Sophie. Welcome.
Mhm.
Sophie, I think the one question that came up while you weren't here was which working groups you want to stay on as a non-voting member and hang out with us more.
Well, I'm happy on special projects if it still exists. But yeah, if anyone has some different thing they'd like to ask me, I'd take a look at it.
You were on another committee. What other one was she on, you guys, as non-voting? I just saw it. Or did we take her off?
Might have been the one that was
Outreach, was
outreach.
it the outreach and
Yes.
communications and outreach?
Correct.
Yeah, do you want to stay on that one?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, when we've got new people, which I don't know when that starts. When do we get new people?
Well, I think we just found out you were leaving, so it takes a little bit of process to figure out how to swip someone else in. But you can stay on as a non-voting member. It doesn't count towards our commissioners in the group, so it doesn't matter. You could be on all of them if you wanted to.
I think I want to be on all of them. Thank you. Yeah, no, those two are fine. And so it's communications and outreach and then special projects. But that means we can have more people on them as well, right? So when the new people begin, which I don't know when that happens, there might be a sort of reshuffle some things.
Sure. Okay.
You want to share the screen again, Erin?
Oh, sure. Yeah, sorry.
I think is that all the working group review?
I think so.
I think it was, yeah.
Great. Very productive.
Except I don't know. There's one that any changes to the CIP working group? I think that was one we hadn't directly chatted about.
I think just adding that one
The one-
initiative
mhm.
from the Business Developers Working Group. Other
Okay.
than that, I think the CIP goals, and correct me if I'm wrong, Allison, they're pretty similar from year to year. At least the process is the same, but the projects are always new and different and interesting.
Yep. I am noticing, so I pulled from our bylaws these bullet points underneath, sort of to qualify the work that we're doing and why we're doing it. When I originally made this document, I don't have remember 7 years ago or whatever. And so Mary, you can do that for the other groups if you want to or not, but it was a nice way for me to show, I thought, to show city council, we're aware of the work that you have designated for us to do, and this is how we are accomplishing those things.
So there should be, these should be added to every work group, the city council.
Where they apply, but like, so I went through our bylaws and it's, says we're supposed to do certain things, and that's why we do some of the work that we do. And this one's very obviously like connected to that document. Some things are less so connected and are just initiatives that we want to take, but like, and I don't know if it still lives in this document, but there is somewhere in there that we're supposed to promote the collection. And so we're doing that through our outreach and communications group. And so I think tying back what we're doing to what they've asked us to do, it's a nice way of saying, look, we're still doing what you wanted us to do. This is what we were put together to do. And this is how we're still continuing to do the work that you want us to be doing.
Are you giving me homework?
Yes. Should you accept?
Go through, okay, so is that something we need to do before this goes to city council?
I think ideally, like framing it that way and having each working group sort of qualified by the bylaws that they are representing is a nice way of tying it all back to what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, even this document itself is something that we were told to make every year. That's just why we do it.
Correct, yeah. Okay.
So.
Great.
You definitely, you're the new leadership. You don't have to do it that way. I'm just telling you why this lives here and why it was there. And why.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Mary, if maybe you and I want to connect, have a little work sesh.
Yeah.
Go through the bylaws, we can just
Sure.
put them in there.
Yeah. We'll
guys-
invite Allison to the work session.
Ah,
Since it was her idea,
only if it's at Grizzly Peak.
right? Okay, where are we at? How are we doing here?
I think we at least talked about all the other ones. So we could kind of clean it up, and then I think it could potentially be ready to finalize and approve at the next meeting.
Sorry, I'm sorry I missed most of this. Did we already do the communications and outreach?
Yes.
We did, yes.
Okay, was there a proposal put for that to the meeting?
We talked about how you
Sorry,
guys
what was that?
wanted to put together a value statement, sort of. That's how it came out, that you guys wanted to put together language about the importance of supporting the arts. And that kind of evolved into putting together a value statement.
Yeah, so because of the attacks on arts and culture and the non-profits that support arts and culture currently by the US administration, we thought it would be useful to yeah, put together some sort of statement in support of that and try and get widespread buy-in to that from Ann Arbor arts and culture organizations and possibly further beyond at some point. But I don't know whether it requires the council to ask us to do that or whether we can propose it, put one together and then propose it to City Council to adopt. And I'm not sure what the way of doing that is.
What are you asking? I'm sorry, about city council?
So if we put together a statement about the current administration's attacks on free speech and historical and artistic interpretations, and who should be able to make those and that kind of thing, that we would like to propose that we create a statement in support of free speech and diversity and other things which the arts and culture sector particularly is affected by in terms of their mere existence, but also because of the attacks on the non-profit organizations that support those. So we haven't actually created such a statement, but I thought it might be useful if we did, and see who else might want to be involved in doing that in the arts and culture sector in Ann Arbor and possibly beyond at some point.
So are you talking about putting together a resolution? It sounds like, and I guess that's what I would suggest, is that you could address council by resolution. Is that, if that's what you're,
Yeah.
and it sounds, yeah.
Okay, so we sort of draft a resolution for the council to adopt or amend and that sort of thing. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Okay, okay, so we can sort of get going on that and try and make something that states where we are and where we would like to be and how we might even get there, possibly. It's not started yet, as you can tell. But
I'll
anyway,
have the mic. I just need to, I'm gonna have to jump in a few minutes. I've gotta, actually, for my work, I've gotta pay attention to the Board of Commissioner meeting is going on right now, so I'll probably stay on until about 9 o'clock. If
We just appreciate having you here, and thank you for your time.
No, it's this is a really, for whatever reason, this is a really bad time. It has turned into like a real it's a conflict, mostly because of my job. I'm the sheriff's office now, which means I've got to you know, pay attention or be at the Board of Commissioner meeting, depending on whether or not we have something on the agenda. So there is a conflict with first and third. Is this second? First and well, depending on their schedule, but they are normally first and third Wednesdays. But no, I'm glad to be here. Glad I was able to make it. I came right from there was 2 overlapping council events before I got to this one. But yeah, good to see you all. So
We decided to meet monthly as a commission, Cynthia, at the last, just so that we can keep the ball rolling. So
yeah,
totally understand if that's not always going to align with your schedule.
yeah. I mean, I definitely will be here every chance that I can get. I thought I'd be here by 7. That's why I didn't send the email saying I was going to be late. But of course I got caught leaving the other event by someone. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you for all the great work you all are doing.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Welcome. No thanks needed.
Brilliant. So Aaron, you suggested that we approve this at the next meeting, that we can still noodle around with it a little bit and then, or you said clean it up and,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Okay, very good. Well, let's move on.
Okay.
We have a some exciting news that the endowment that we are able to draw from, that is at the Ann Arbor Community Foundation. It's called the Ann Arbor Public Places Endowment Fund, and the Ann Arbor Public Art Commission is able to draw the interest. And we just got a report that there's $22,000 in the endowment fund that we could draw from. That this is a larger amount because we haven't actually done anything with it, but potentially could be around 5,000 each year. So a leadership working group did get together to discuss what this could look like, and the possibility of breaking this up into annual mini grants for citizens, residents of Washtenaw County to apply for. We discussed keeping it simple and very available to most working artists or organizations, even youth. This could be used for music events. It could be used for performance. We want this to be kind of a broad net. I can pull up our notes actually from that meeting if I'm just sort of spitballing here. If Sarah and Allison want to add anything that we discussed.
Well, it was the fundraising working group.
Fundraising. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think we said they had to be a resident, but the project had to take place within the city of Ann Arbor that they're proposing, whether that be a public art project, a public performance, whatnot. We were talking about a range between 1,000 to 5,000 for each of these mini grants in the first year, potentially doing more than one or two in the first year, and then probably in the second year, maybe doing two smaller ones of 2,500. Obviously, we're still working through the weeds, but we're excited about the opportunity to potentially fund some projects. We talked about instead of doing like a technical final report, we would have them come talk to this group at our monthly meetings to kind of at the very beginning tell us about the project that was approved and what their thoughts are and get any advice. And then after the project was done, come back to us and talk to us about the project and what they learned and how the money we gave them was used, and things like that.
And I think we talked about giving the full amount upfront to the artist. And then the way that we kind of check in on that is them giving an update during a meeting and then a final presentation at the end of the completion of the project, which of course, as Allison and Mary mentioned, can be temporary, right? Or a performance, a musical. So this would be encompassing all areas of art, which I think was one of our goals in outreach that we can also reach with fundraising through this grant is being more multidisciplinary.
Yeah, several years ago, we changed I think they're called bylaws around the endowment, around the interest that we can draw from the endowment so that we can support public art projects, not just do maintenance, et cetera. So we're within the realms of that. I know Mary has reached out to the Community Foundation to schedule a meeting to kind of get more details on when we can draw those funds annually and sort of tell them our ideas to make sure there's no conflicts or anything, or if there's ideas they think they could potentially even support what we're doing. So if anyone has any specific feedback or ideas or things they think we should keep in mind as we hash out the exact details of the application and stuff, please let us know.
How are we going to let artist communities know that the grant exists and how would they apply?
We talked about working with Creative Washtenaw to help promote and publicize the opportunity. We use our Instagram. I would lean on the special projects group a little bit to say, how have you guys communicated about the golden paintbrush? And use similar avenues. We
Is,
had an idea of one time where we would go talk about it. I forget where it was, but I think it was at Creative Watchdog, like going to a happy hour or something and sharing it there.
is the golden paintbrush funded through that monies or,
No,
oh, okay, so
the
that's,
golden paintbrush doesn't award any money.
okay, gotcha, okay.
The only money required for golden paint, well, it's two things. There's, for golden paintbrush, there's the tiles, which there's only 4 or 5 tiles, which are given to the awardees. I think it's 4 actually. And then they're given a certificate, which, you know, is not a significant cost. But the other thing would be whether we can advertise the nomination form, the call for nominations in the, for example, in the Ann Arbor News, and whether we could also place an advert saying who's won at the end. And that would be, I don't know, I would love to be able to do that. I don't know whether we can ask for funds to advertise that the nominations are open. I think that would be good if we can do that. Would we be able to sort of agree on that we have a fund for advertising it?
We have in the past used the interest from the endowment to place ads, but I don't think we have. The last one, we didn't draw off of it, so I don't know if the city just funded your ad last time or what. Honestly, I think ideally if the city has it within their communications budget to promote it, that would be ideal, but,
And what did we do for paying for the tile, Sarah? Do you remember that?
That was
We
a
paid-
donation.
yeah.
Which is why we
Donated?
that was a donation made on behalf of Motawi Tile Works. So custom work does not fall under the donation category, but again, I do have those panels that I mentioned that are 4 6-inch tiles mounted.
So we could continue to use those again and we wouldn't need funds to buy tiles. Okay.
Not for this year, but there's a finite amount.
Okay.
So I think this year would be the end of that particular tile work being donated. But doesn't mean that others could not be in the future, just not those.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, as far as the advert for the nominations opening goes, I think the communications department at the city was not eager to spend on that because they weren't convinced about the Ann Arbor News, or no, Ann Arbor Observer. I mean, sorry, I'm saying news, I mean Observer, whether that was a good place to put such an advert, although I believe it is, because we get a good response from a similar, probably maybe demographic for West Side Art Hop. So yeah, so I'm not sure.
I mean, I guess, so we can talk about how much we want to use for the grant each year. Once we know how much we get in interest each year. I know it's around 5,000. That ad itself is about $1,000. So we just have to talk about, as a council or as a commission, would we rather put $1,000 into a public art piece or into an advertisement about golden paintbrush, and, you know, make our decision that way.
Yeah, I
And
guess
maybe
also
an
depending on the
effective,
size. Sorry.
yeah, an effective use of the city's marketing resources could come outside of paid advertisement and work more with press releases. I mean, I think any MLive article, which we've had a few in past years, and I'm sure before then as well, you know, those articles that get picked up and written about in, you know, that digital format would be a great way, I think, for us to get the word out about voting and about who won, and, you know, that presentation during council as well. So if there's a way to communicate or to, you know, get in touch with the city communication department about those press releases and what verbiage they might need from us to create it. I mean, I think that goes with every goal that we've put forward in this plan is I think press releases mean a lot for this commission and how we can get those written and distributed regularly.
Yeah, I think they have a press release. Do you remember, Peggy, whether they already have? I think the press release is already written and has started to go out. So, yeah.
Written, I don't know if it's actually been published yet. Remember, he was Robert Keller. Do you guys know it's Robert Keller, correct, Erin?
Mhm.
You
Yes.
guys know him? He's on it. He's very good.
So, I mean, technically, the interest from the endowment is the only funding source for this commission to do anything with. And we haven't been doing anything with it for years, which is why we have the 22,000. So this is grant opportunity is one of the ways we've looked at supporting public art projects that come to us. Like we have people come to us, talk all the time about these projects, and we're like, yeah, we don't have any money. And so now we're going to try to give some money back to those public art projects. But you know, that is a good point as far as that is our only really funding source. And from year to year, we might decide, you know what, maybe there's a piece in our public collection that's been destroyed and the city doesn't have money to fix it. And we want to draw funds from the endowment to put towards that. And we don't do a grant that year. We might have to make tough decisions like that from year to year, but I think this is a great way to use the money on a regular basis if we can not use it in other places.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think that I agree with that.
But I mean, to your point, it is something we'll want to talk about on an annual basis. Like, are there other things that this money needs to be spent on before we grant it out, essentially?
Oh, but people should be asking all their friends to nominate. And I think I shared the link somewhere, but if you can look that up or I can send it again. Have a think about who you want to nominate and make sure that everybody knows about it.
Okay, any other thoughts on the endowment questions? Are there any reports from committees? I mean, we kind of just went through all the working groups, so anything to add?
I don't know if we talked about the CIP work group. We finalized that document. And so hopefully it's going to council soon.
Yes,
Way to
it
go.
is slated for June 2nd, assuming it makes it through the reviews, because the city's May is kind of reserved for budget planning. So right now it's slated for June 2nd.
Great.
Any reports from staff?
Just I was going to mention the land use plan, and I have the Engage site pulled up really quick. I can just share my screen. Kind of show you a little bit what it looks like. Yeah, so it's on the Engage A2 page, comprehensive land use plan. So it has a bunch of information and the different kind of focus areas of the land use comp plan. I did do a word search for placemaking. It did show up a couple times. I'm guessing this group would probably be most interested in, so the goals are kind of split out into 3 different categories. There's housing and neighborhoods, and then economy and opportunity, and then the 4th is infrastructure. So I'm guessing this group would probably be most interested in this section, but certainly give it a look. And that engagement is ongoing. And I did just check the DDA page as well, and that is not yet ready for public review, but there is a public engagement page about the forthcoming DDA plan as well. So check that out. I'm sure everyone has tons of free time, but those are available to review.
Am I right in thinking that the DDA is planning to expand which area counts as downtown?
Yes, that is that is under discussion. Yes, to expand the area of the DDA. Yes.
Are you able to send those two links that you just shared, Erin, if you don't mind?
Yes, I will. Certainly.
That would be beautiful.
Mhm.
I can just see myself on the a2.gov site. I have a question for staff.
Yes.
We had talked about learning more about what the Parks Department is up to in terms of public art projects. And I don't know if that's something that is, just available on their department website, or if they are interested in talking to the commission. They did present to us in 2024, early, I believe, before they brought artwork to the tunnel area over there by Argo. There was like a border to border plan for bringing artwork along the B2B trail. I've just heard about a larger initiative where they're going to be building a pedestrian bridge that goes under the railroad that connects to Barton Dam. And there is artwork slated for that space as well, and that potentially the Art Center is already contracted to help them with that. I would like the commission to stay up to date on what is happening within the city in terms of public art, period. And it seems like Parks is the most active. So I'm not sure what the best way to connect with them, a couple times a year, beginning of the year, or to see their plan. I mean, they must have to get something approved by city council as well, some kind of plan and goals. So I'm just curious to see broader communication and fluidity between the two, between the art commission and what they're up to.
Sure. Yeah, I can see if they're available to come to the June meeting. The parks, they have, I want to say it's a 5-year plan, the pros plan. I'm not sure if that has art specifically talked about in there, but that would be somewhere I would start with. But yeah, I could certainly see if Hillary's available to come in June or sometime soon-ish, and we can chat about making that kind of like an annual visit, or frequency as needed with parks.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I just think it's exciting, and it seems like
I wonder if as CIP projects come online, which I'm assuming that one is one of the CIP projects, CIP projects that are suggested to have enhancements for art, I should specify. As those come online, whoever the city rep is like overseeing it, whether it's parks, whether it's some other department, ideally they would be invited to come to our meeting just to kind of like on a regular basis as that project is ongoing to. And I don't know how to trigger that.
We did get to see the fancy new database.
We did.
That does have the, if a project has art enhancement, right, that.
Yeah, Kayla's got that really well organized.
Oh, okay. I can follow up with Kayla too.
Anything else for or from staff?
Nothing else for me.
Thank you, Erin. Well, we are at that point where, unless there are any just like fun things on the horizon you want to share, plugging Art Hop, anybody wants to plug any cool things coming up? Marionetta, what are you working on? You said you're making art. I want What are you making?
Just having fun.
Um,
We
I
want to
would-
see works in progress at the next meeting.
yeah. Like, you should do show and tell. Come on.
Yeah.
Gonna
I know,
Art Birmingham is this weekend.
Marinette is doing stuff.
I think I definitely want to look into attending the next Creative Washtenaw happy hour in Chelsea. If anybody wants to join me, I think that'd be a fun way to see what's going on. Art Hop is coming up, right, Sophie? Are you hosting this year?
Yeah. Well, Art Hope is coming up on a little bit earlier this time because of the first weekend of June is half a leg in May and half a leg in June. So we're on this, what kind of is the second weekend of June on the 7th and 8th. And yeah, we're having sort of 90 odd artists around the neighborhood in the west side of Ann Arbor showing their work. And it's going to be fun again. And we're going to have perfect weather. And yeah, we have a nice group of return artists and new artists, and it's going to be good.
And I wanted to add that the Embracing Our Differences banners are up in Gallup Park. You guys are familiar with
Great.
those. Gallup Park, and
Yes, I
then I
just see
think this
those.
week they went up in Riverside Park in Ipsy. So
Excellent.
go and see them.
Thank you, Peggy.
And I think I would add this is Sophie's official final meeting as a commissioner, even though she'll be continuing on work groups. So yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah, I'm gonna miss-
volunteering. Yeah.
Thank you, Sophie.
Yeah.
How many years have you been on the commission?
How many years, Sophie? Because we came on together. What year was it? I can't remember.
I think it might have been 2019. Don't know.
Can you come to the CW happy hour? We can all buy you a drink.
I would love to. I keep getting invited, and every time I think, oh, that would be fun, I seem to be doing something else. When's the next one? I make my big
Oh,
effort.
right,
so I can
great.
come.
We had Anna Gersh, the interim director of Creative Washtenaw, present to the commission earlier, and she invited us. It is going to be
May 28th, I think, right?
4:30 in Chelsea at the Ugly Dog Distillery.
You might be a little busy then with Art Hop, so maybe we should catch them in June. Do they have a monthly, don't they?
Yes.
Yep,
Sorry, which day was it? In May on the 28th, did you say?
Yeah.
28th, Wednesday the 28th, 4:30, yeah.
Okay. Well, I will try and make sure everything's all put to bed and running smoothly for Art Top by then.
Okay. Well, if not, we can always go in June and celebrate you.
Great. Anything else? And we could adjourn if there isn't anything else. This was a productive meeting. Thank you, everybody, for your time and your ideas and inspiration.
Thank you,
And
Mary.
it's going to be a great year. Yeah.
Thanks so
And
much.
thank you, Sophie. You will be missed. You're welcome to call in for public comment anytime or join the meetings. Come join the meetings.
Yeah, I don't know how that works when I'm don't have my little square box, but maybe somehow.
Well, is there a motion to adjourn?
So
Allison, second. Marionetta, thank you. You all are lovely humans, and look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 4th, I believe, at